Welcome to Climbing Clouds. Thank you for joining today and for liking and subscribing and for following this baby channel as it grows. I really appreciate how you add value to my life. And if you're new to this channel, this is a channel designed for the creative collective, for those of us who want to keep evolving creatively and just would like the extra support that is sometimes really hard to find in the everyday humdrum of life. So let's get into a reading. This is for the general collective. What you're hearing is from a lyre. I'll be playing the intro song now from my harp. It's a wooden harp that I designed this song to be the intro to the channel. Anyways, I'm just learning how to navigate this harp. It's a wooden harp that has been, it's just a really interesting kind of a folk piece of musical instrument, I guess I would say. It's carved. Okay, so let's get into this reading. I'm doing a shadow reading, I think, is what I'm feeling. It's really prominent. There's been a lot of Scorpio energy going on. I just did a reading about that. And Scorpio energy is death. It's dealing with death and letting things go. And it's very sobering to even say the word death, right? It's like a very heavy word. If you say death, you know, even the sound of it is heavy. It just falls and lands. There's a lot of gravity to it. And we're going into, I have drawn this card, the World, from this deck, and this particular deck that I have. This week, I don't know if you'll see, I have an inflamed hand. It's still a little bit swollen. I feel like this is part of the reading, so I'm gonna just explain it. There's a picture of this bee on here. I went to go garden and repot my calla lilies, and I was stung by a hornet right here on my finger. The hornet landed on me and stung me, and it hurt so bad. I cried for about an hour and iced my finger. And I even called my mom. I'll be honest, I talk to my mom a lot. So I called her and I was like, oh my gosh, I tried to garden today. I was getting outside and I was just stung by a hornet. It hurt so bad. I was crying when I called her. I couldn't believe how bad the pain was excruciating. And so I had to ice my hand for pretty much the whole day. And what was interesting to me is I decided to look up the symbology of hornet, and it was actually really profound and really positive. It had to do with I think it originates in Hindu belief, and it's a protective energy of protection. It's like immense spiritual protection. Now on this card, it's called the universe, but this is typically the world card in everyday tarot language, which has to do with, it's connected with the Wheel of Fortune because it's a circular movement, but it's also a vortex of a new chapter, a really big new chapter. And to me, what it was telling me is that this new chapter in really embarking into the evolving of this energy for the creative collective, because I'm part of the creative collective too. So anything that I'm bringing to you as the viewer, I'm experiencing firsthand in my life. I don't just randomly make up readings and call it a day. I'm actually living out my own creative collective experience because I'm part of it as well, just like you are. We're all part of it. And anybody who comes onto the channel and decides to be part of it adds that energy to it. Like you bring your own energy, right? So here, as we're talking, I wanted to add some Palo Santos to the reading, just to keep the energy pure. Really into energy clearing and keeping things moving with the highest intention. Nothing but white and Christ light to bless this reading. I really believe in keeping your energy pure in life, and regular cleansing is really important. Especially in today's age, we're bombarded with so much energy all around us, with ads and like even going in through your email. Isn't it hard to find something you're looking for? You're bombarded with so much to even like filter through it to find anything is hard. So I feel like our minds are bombarded and cluttered right now in our world, in the world, the universe. We're talking about the world. This is still pertinent. And what's going on here with what I feel with this shadow read, with death, the cards that are coming up. I always do pre-draws, and I draw more. I drew from other decks before I even filmed this. I did 2 or 3 drawings, and I approach the cards from a really personal level, and then I kind of like filter that out because I don't want to be biased as a reader. I just want to be as pure as possible, because this is not about me personally. I mean, I'm part of it. I'm part of the creative collective as well. And then I'm also a reader for you. And I'm kind of observing too. So it's really a tightrope of selectivity. So I like to approach in real time. I've got this as the bare bones of the reading, and then we're going to draw right now in real time. But we've got the star at the center of all of this, okay? The star is a healing energy, coming from the background of death. This is letting things go that just don't serve you anymore, or some things that are falling naturally away, and having closure with that, having closure with elements in your life that are not really serving the greater purpose. Okay, and sometimes that can be really painful. It can be really painful to move forward and to evolve. And that's why a lot of times people remain stuck, because they don't want to deal with the pain of evolving. It's not something that can be comfortable sometimes to grow. We have growing pains even as our spiritually evolving selves. We are constantly growing. Our culture seems to be afraid of aging, which is, it's unfortunate, because the older that we get, we're all aging, first of all. So to deny something that's so organic is kind of ridiculous. But then in the other sense of fecundity, of being like something that just isn't serving us, is this notion that it's something to avoid. But you can't avoid aging if you're alive. So I mean, that's what's it's just funny to me. It's an oxymoron of our culture. And I fall prey to it just like you do. I'm not putting everybody down and saying that I'm above being afraid of aging. I use anti-aging creams on my face. I mean, I don't like to age either. We all are afraid of aging. It's part of our culture. So I'm embracing this in saying that, but that's part of the experience here, is embracing the pain with aging too. The pain, the evolution involves growing pains, okay? And they're here to they're here to protect you, actually. When I looked up the energy of the hornet, which is telling me on a really direct and physical engagement with this notion, I was stung by a hornet, and it was serving me a purpose. It was teaching me that sometimes we have to have pain to wake up our senses. And the reason that we need to wake up our senses is that sometimes I think that we ignore parts of ourselves because it's easier to just be moving through the mechanics of life. And so we get dull. We numb out, basically. And people do this in many different ways. I mean, that's why addictions are part of life, and because people don't want to deal with their own emotional turmoil and pain, and it's easier to maybe completely ignore it. But in doing that, you're actually making it even worse, because then it's magnetized when it's suppressed. And that's a whole, I mean, I could do a whole other reading on just that. But we're not going there today. Today, this reading involves moving forward and being very immersed with that experience. Excuse me, I'm reacting to the Palo Santos. So as we move forward into our healing as Creative Collective, there's a sense of sometimes having to embrace our own personal journey and our own personal pain with letting things go that just aren't serving us anymore, and the reality of that. Because as you embrace what is needed in your life and what you're being called to be a part of, you have to let other things go. And so sometimes this means that certain people are just not going to be part of that journey for one reason or another. We have sometimes ties with people that can tend to be toxic or create more stagnation within our path. And it's not to say that you don't care. It's to say that you're only responsible for your own path. You have to stay in your own lane. And so in doing that, that can help you to embrace the natural pain that comes with evolving into the new chapter, which is here and center stage to the reading. The new chapter here, I have the daisy flower is showing up. That's been also, I've been seeing that in my life this week, and this is what I drew from the flower deck. It stands for innocence and cheerfulness and purity, and staying pure, basically, staying pure on your path. Here I have the Lovers and the Ace of Cups. This has come up more than, I would say, every time I did a pre-draw. I got the Lovers and the Ace of Cups. So I can say with validity that all of these cards I've drawn more than once tonight, 3 or 4 times. And so that's how I start my readings. I want you to know why I have certain cards out and what they mean to the reading. I also have here the Sun and the Ace of Pentacles. I love this rendition of the Sun. It's a scarab beetle. I love scarab beetles. They represent rebirth, and they're also a protective, lucky symbol as well. And this scarab is holding up the sun with its wings. It's such a beautiful image. It's so interesting to me. So there's a feeling of illumination that spans like a sense of a timeline. Because the scarab beetle is one of the oldest symbols. It dates all the way back to prehistoric Egypt as a protector symbol. And it is directly also correlated to the pentacles, to the sense of prosperity. And in the sense of prosperity that I'm sensing for us as creative collectives, as the people who are resonating with this reading and hopefully wanting to evolve and stay on our creative pathways, which is not always easy. That's why I created this channel, because it's not easy to embrace your journey as a creative, and each person is called differently. So I don't know what your journey is for you specifically, but each person has their own creative tasks and callings in life. Like, we are all creative, first of all. And then second of all, this is an important journey that I think in staying pure about it, it enables you to see with the eyes of a child, in like those ageless eyes that you keep embedded in your soul through your entire life. You have a side to your soul that watches and learns almost as everything is unfolding, and there's a non-judgment about it. There's just the observer eye, and being as close to that as you can is really important, so that you're making wise choices. The Lovers is not just about union, but it's also about making wise choices and selectively picking what you're connecting with. And being selective about that can sometimes be really painful, because sometimes you have to say no in order to say yes to yourself. Sometimes you have to let people go when you realize that your own best interest is not part of the connection, And so, that's just the way it's like. Here you are on a tightrope. The hang up card is here. I think this speaks to exactly what I'm talking about. You're walking this very fine tightrope. If she falls to her death. There's a crocodile just waiting to devour her. And she's balancing on a tightrope with 2 flowers in her hands. To me, this has a lot of Libra energy. There's a balancing act going on, and it's walking the tightrope. So that's what we're doing as creatives. There's constantly a feeling of walking the tightrope. There is something to do with what's going on here as part of the lesson is the 3 of water, the third party energy, distractions, karmics, people that are maybe toxic for you and distracting you from your path. That's a reality in many different forms that we see in different readings. If you follow any of the readings, that comes up a lot as a theme. And the reason is that we're dealing with that collectively. Sometimes we have what are called crazy makers. If you ever follow the Artist Way, I will refer to some concepts from the Artist Way in this channel, because I really believe it's a strong book that, if look it up sometime if you ever haven't read it. But it really speaks to the creative process. And part of staying on your path is dealing with crazy makers, people that are trying to throw you off your path. These are called haters or naysayers, critics. That all is part of this energy that I'm talking about. And in dealing with that, communication is really important, as is how you are following your own emotional intuition and being true to that, being true to what makes you curious, what makes you make profound and wise choices without seeing what's around you, but through your inner vision. This woman is blindfolded. This is the Two of Swords. Two of Air is the Two of Swords. And it's about having a fork in the road. You're making a choice, a deliberate choice to choose yourself, no matter what. And that's what you have to communicate and believe in as being taking allegiance to your own pathway, and in order to stand up to the naysayer. That's important. It's just important that, and it's coming up because you're dealing with maybe some disappointments emotionally. But as you grow in the depths of your own passion, like in being committed to yourself on a passionate level, you're going to be able to navigate the storms that come with that. Sometimes people come into our lives and they're not always for our highest good. And the whole challenge is being willing to stand up for yourself and for what you're passionate about. Okay. So let's look into that before I go further. That's what's coming up. I also drew lilac, which is the first emotions of love. Love is the magician that pulls man out of his own hat. So the magician energy is the ability to co-create into your own life and manifest what it is that you envision for yourself. And this is all related with standing up to the naysayers. Let's draw some cards on this because I would like to see what would come up naturally. I'm being drawn to a couple of decks. I've got this deck here, and then I've got this other deck. I'm going to pull both of them. So what does the Creative Collective need to know about this distracting energy, in dealing with the crazy makers in our life? What is the message here for this shadow read in order to best benefit the highest good, or the healing energy, the star energy in our life? Okay, a couple of cards came out. We've got the Hierophant. Wow, okay, that's a really strong card to come up. The Hierophant is ruled by Taurus, and it has to do with authority. It's like a spiritual authority. And it has to do with traditions as well. Okay, and then oh wow, the Tower. Profound and very heavy changes. I'm going to draw from the other deck as well. I want to see what comes up. So I drew two more cards too that were reversed. These might be blocks so mentally the air of, the messenger of air is kind of like in normal decks, this would be the Page of Swords, and then the World is coming up again, and both in dealing with the naysayers become blocked. So I think what happens, and I think this is what this is saying, is that when you're dealing with people that are directly trying to throw you off your path for one reason or another, there's a million reasons why people are naysayers or haters, as we call them, in your life. And one of them is a direct block for you moving ahead in your evolving, it's to thwart you mentally. It's like a strategy to undermine you mentally, and to undermine your opportunities that you're creating for yourself. It's to undermine your sense of confidence. It's to undermine your sense of originality and maybe excitement. When people feel threatened, there's a reason that they feel threatened, and often it's because they themselves are not doing the inner work that on their own pathways. So they'll they'll try to distract other people. They'll actually, I just find it amazing that there are actually people who are spending tons of time trying to deliberately sabotage other people because they feel so insecure in their own lives, like so out of touch and numb to their own process, that they actually go out of their way to make life miserable for somebody else. It's like, who has time for that? I mean, life is hard enough without trying to then create drama for somebody else. It's just amazing to me that that people actually spend energy doing that. It's like, are you crazy? I mean, it's like, I don't know, just being on your own path takes so much dedication and energy to begin with. So when somebody is going out of their way to make your life hard, that's a direct insight to how out of touch they are with their own life and their own path. They're not doing the inner work because they're so distracted that they actually are caught up projecting in somebody else's story. You know what I mean? It's like, just think about how ridiculous that is. It's like the people that you know in your life who have ever made up a lot of tall tales. I've had friends like that in childhood, like where they're like pathological liars, and they create a story. So you're just like, okay, and then they have to create even more lies because they've created one lie that then, they're constantly having to then defend the first lie that they created. And it's like this unnecessary drama, basically, all because maybe they were insecure. And I mean, if you pick it apart, you're like, well, why did you even create this lie? It has nothing to do with reality. And, they just make an ass of themselves, because you realize, like, if they weren't insecure to begin with and they were committed to their own path, the lie never would have been created. And then hence the ridiculous journey that anybody took to follow this lie, and how it would affect others. So these are people that are like the rotten apples that we're dealing with, because they're not standing in their own truth, okay? And they're not contributing to the greater whole. When you're on your path and you're really dedicated to being at your highest vibration creatively, you don't have time to do that to other people. And you're wanting to, you realize that other people are an extension of your own light, and it would be ridiculous to hurt yourself that way, because you create karma. And why would you want to create that for yourself? Why do you need all the unnecessary baggage? It doesn't make any sense. It's very unwise to begin with. So being pure and on your path, going back to the Gerber daisy and staying pure, there's a sense of authority that you have on your own path. You are the hierophant. You are the one that needs to make these calls to protect yourself and the boundaries for all of the big changes that you're going through. You have to realize that taking a stand and maybe creating a sense of authority in your life, it's a form of protection, and you have to do it, because otherwise you're going to give away your power. Let's look into that. This is a lot of cards, but I'm going to take them. So we've got the Hermit. Sometimes you need to shut others out and take your own space. It's really important. It's very important. I would say one of the most important things you can do for yourself. We've got the King of Pentacles here. And this is definitely, it's taking authority and being wise with your resources, being wise with how you're building your prosperity in your life and how you're tending to your own needs and to the needs of those who rely on you. Like if you have children or if you have a job that you're helping others through, it's being responsible with that. We've got the Sun coming out again. The Wheel of Fortune is here too. Wow, this is interesting. So I think your Wheel of Fortune gets blocked when you're not on your path. If you get distracted through other toxic ties can throw you off. I've always believed in that if you are hanging out with people that are toxic or situations that are toxic for you, you're not going to be able to access your prosperity. And that's going to be very directly transparent with that. And you're going to see that directly mirrored in your life. So that's one way to tell if you are on the right path, is that when things start flowing for you and your prosperity just flows, you know that that's your element, and that's what you need to be doing. If you're having a lot of obstacles with that, you might want to ask yourself, what actions do you need to take to be more truthful about, to have more integrity in your life? This is the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords does not deal with any BS. There's no bullshit with the Knight of Swords. It's just taking action and being fundamentally accountable. It's very upright and is not afraid to walk the walk, talk the talk. There's no bullshit about the Knight of Swords. And we've got the Sun here that's very positive and radiant. It illuminates the inner child and the positivity that's involved with that. This is also about collaboration. Excuse me. This is the Three of Wands, and it's working with others in your passion to collaboratively pursue your dreams. Excuse me. Okay, so what else needs to come out? I'm going to pull from a different deck. That's what's challenging us right now as we grow and heal. What gifts can we expect from this process in moving forward and evolving through the star energy, through the Chariot and the Star? As we embark in a new chapter of the world, what gifts are coming through for us as creative collectives? Wow, the Hierophant is coming out again. This is Taurus energy. It's a spiritual authority. I think it gives you spiritual authority in your own life to call your shots. It gives you the ability to indoctrinate your own pathway and say, hey, this is protected in all areas. It's like having supreme protection. It's like being the parent of your own pathway, and taking the reins in a way that protects you in a very loving but authoritative way, if that makes sense. What else needs to come through? We've got the King of Wands reversed. So yeah, this is saying no to things that are just impulsive, the fast energy, the good for now, but not for a long time. It's saying no to the short term and saying yes to the longer, to the bigger picture. This is almost like teenage energy here in the upright. The King of Wands is very, just pursues. It's like the one night stand energy compared to like marriage. That's a really good way to show the difference between these two and the contrasts. So we've got the Hierophant would be a marriage card. It actually is a marriage card in tarot. So it protects through the authority of being like indoctrinating rituals in your life that maybe you are tending to. It's like putting your bigger goals, your long-term bigger picture thinking over the short-term impulsive fly-by-night, exciting, everything's exciting and just doing what makes you excited. Sometimes you have to put those things on the back burner to get stuff done. You got to get shit done. You've got to have your goals in mind. You have to stay grounded and realize that you've got to take your life seriously enough to be disciplined, or you're not going to get to where you feel you deserve to be. It takes work. You can't just expect everything to just be handed to you or to be easy. It's not. There's a lot of self-discipline in being happy. It takes a lot of discipline to be happy. It takes a lot of work to be happy. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter of your status, how much money you have or don't have. It takes work no matter what, period. It's spiritual work. Here we have death coming through again. So death is finality. What's coming through? Why is death coming through again? So we have the moon reversed. These are secrets that are coming up and unearthing themselves. So you might be having profound insights that maybe you didn't see before. And then we have the Empress energy. Wow, this is nice. The Three of Cups might be coming through. The Three of Cups can also be a celebration card, an energy, celebrating the Empress. There's justice with this that has to do with the Empress energy. Allowing what really is truly meant to be in your life and for you to just flow to you. Whatever is truly meant to be for you cannot be taken away from you. That's coming through. I needed to say that. And we've got here the Nine of Swords reversed. So this is coming out of anxiety and fear-based thinking, which never serves the bigger good. The Hermit is coming back through as well. So lighting, you notice this is calling my attention, how he has a lantern, which is lighting his path in the dark. There's a really vigilant energy about the Hermit. It's ruled by Virgo. And so it's very grounded, but it's also very acute and it's like when you're hyper vigilant and let's say you're trying to find your way out of the woods, you're going to use your mental acuity to protect yourself, and you're not going to waste your energy going all over willy-nilly through the woods if you're at night trying to get through a path and survive. You're honed in, you're hyper vigilant, you're focused, and that's the energy that's being called for here, is actually taking yourself seriously enough to focus and to light your lantern and to get from point A to point B, to stay focused, to give yourself that space, because it takes work. We've got the Fool coming through. It was reversed, so I want to see why. The Fool is the untapped potential, the unlimited potential. Let's look into, I'm going to draw from a smaller deck here. Why is the Fool coming through? Why is it reversed? Why do we need to know this? Okay, so I have here the Six of Cups, and it did come out reversed as well, but the Six of Cups is typically a connection with your past and soulmate energy, a sense of nostalgia. We've got the Magician and competition here. There's competition. You're competing. Why is this coming through? Again, the Two of Swords with the Eight of Swords reversed. So trusting your intuition and coming out of your head. This is, again, Hermit energy, the Hanged Man. So to me, I guess what it's saying is that you have to take time to detach and find your own perspective. You cannot rely on other people's perspective to guide you. It's going to throw you off your path. That's coming through really strongly. That's the message. If you want to truly get to your unlimited potential, to the ability to evolve to a higher level, to your visionary sense of yourself, you have to be willing to walk your own path, because nobody has the keys to that path but you. And so if you give your power away and you don't follow your own path, if you numb out to it and just follow everybody else like a herd mentality, you're gonna get misled. I mean, that's all there is to it. It's you're not gonna follow your own compass, so to speak. Like, you don't know your path or your compass. If you're listening to others, they're not going to have that for you. Even if you're in a relationship, you still have to be true to yourself. And that's sometimes really hard to do. I think that's why a lot of relationships fail, is that, there's a lot of manipulation in trying to almost distract from your own course, your own chariot. You like lose track of yourself in a way that doesn't suit you anymore, and then everything falls apart. So it's really coming back to base. It's coming back to the Hangman energy is important to embody in your life, to take that time to find your own perspective. It's very important, like through maybe journaling or just having your own space, just doing the things that really mean the most to you. It's important to keep doing that. And it's important to not lose sight of yourself despite what's around you. Okay, well, what else needs to come through? So all of this is leading to your grounded prosperity. This is things that are solid, that hold the most weight for you as merit, as financial freedom. Everybody's striving to be secure, and this is the ultimate security here. It's the Ten of Pentacles. We have the Queen of Wands reversed coming through, and the Two of Pentacles with judgment. So there's some kind of negative judgment going on right now. in juggling. What's going on with this? The Knight of Cups. Yeah, so I don't know why this is coming through right now. The Two of Cups reversed. Maybe like, I think this is speaking to having connections with toxic people in your life, how it really throws you off in such a big way that it creates negative karma for you. So I had to speak to that. It's coming through the reading. So what's the best way to deal with getting back on track when you have negative karma? Let's look into that, and then I'll wrap up this reading with some oracle messages. I'm using just a regular, this is a French deck of playing cards that I picked up at a really beautiful boutique down in the southern part of Florida when I was shopping. So anyways, this is a deck of playing cards, and I'm just going to draw a message from them and translate them into tarot. So we've got the Four of Cups and the 10 of Wands. Okay, so this is really kind of trying to stay centered despite being maybe burned out on some level, having a level of burnout and needing to really refuel and ground yourself. This is taking the time to meditate and to center yourself. It's going to be really key for you if you want to stay on your creative path. You have to make time for that, or you will get distracted and you will get thrown off your path, because the world that we live in is like the ultimate distraction. I mean, there's no way around it. We're bombarded with a million images every day. Well, we've got the 8 of Cups and the 7 of Wands. And this is exactly what I'm saying. It's walking away from things that don't emotionally serve your highest good. And it's holding yourself accountable and standing your ground for what you believe in. You have to know what your vision is and what you are creating for yourself, or you're never going to get there. I'm telling you, you can't just leave that up to fate. You have to take matters into your own hands. I don't know why that's coming through so strongly, but it's the message that keeps reiterating through this reading. We have the 9 of Swords. There's like a sense of anxiety maybe in choosing yourself. I'm not sure if maybe some of you are resonating with that. The 7 of Cups is having choices. The 7 of Swords. So there's a sense of anxiety about possibly having your choices taken away from you, maybe not having access to the choices that you want, maybe feeling limited in some way. We've got the Ace of Swords. So I think it's just, and then the 6 of Wands. The 6 of Wands. So the 6 of Wands is having victory, actually, being victorious about your own truth and being able to stand your ground so that you do make wise choices. And the Queen of Cups is here. Wow, that's really beautiful. I like that. So this is asking you to be in your heart space and to really figure out what it is that you truly resonate with your heart space. That's how you know what your pathway is being able to follow your heart. And then we have the King to the Queen of Cups. So this is a divine union, a divine pairing. And to me, it's also on the personal level. It's your masculine and your feminine being totally balanced and in harmony. as it's said in Jungian terms, the anima and animus, it's the coming together of the masculine and feminine perspective and being balanced in that. All right, I'm going to draw an oracle card to wrap up this reading. This is the Rose deck of oracle messages. What do we need to know as we... I'll also draw from the Moon deck because it's just a little bit more distinct and grounded. I think the message is just a little bit more deliberate from the Moon deck. That's why I'm going to use both. So this is Rose Without Thorns, and this is following your joy, peace, the sweetness of life. It's getting past all the thorns to the rose, to what carries the best. It's finding your own sweet spot, so to speak, you know, like what really makes you happy. What's at the center of that for you? It's like when you smell a rose and you getting to the center of the rose is kind of getting to your own sense of center, to your own sense of truth. So a personal issue reaches resolution. I just dropped the card. It's ruled in Cancer. You're going to have a resolution about something, and that's really great. I hope that you know that you have peace with that, and that you know that you're good enough. That's what this is coming through, the full moon in Virgo. It's funny, the Virgo is really ruling this reading because Hermit is ruled by Virgo as well. And the Virgin is the Virgo energy. It's the purity, which goes back to the daisy, which is purity. And the star is also, it's ruled by Aquarius, and it has a sense of purity about it. Let me find, from the beginning of the reading, we had the Gerber daisy. So this is what's coming through: the Virgin, the Virgo, the star, the daisy. And the end of a tough cycle approaches. This is the full moon in Capricorn. Wonderful. So from Virgo to Capricorn is almost an entire cycle too, which takes me back to the world and the full circle, moving full circle within your life. So luck is on your side, and this is the new moon in Sagittarius. Sagittarius actually bridges between Virgo and Capricorn on the wheel. So that's really interesting too. It's also a sense of honing in on what's important for you and being willing to make the effort to really streamline your life to meet your goals. That's the power of Sagittarius, is being able to hit your mark. And, you know, so you're pulling back your bow and you're deciding where to send your arrow. That's making a choice right there. That's a very deliberate energy, right? This is, so nothing will come of the situation, but reversed, something will come of your situation. And that's what you need to believe in. Is that, and it's asking you to communicate. You have to communicate. This is actually the opposite of Sagittarius. I find this interesting too, that this is coming out. These are two polar opposites. This is the new moon. This is Gemini and Sagittarius. These are two opposite polarities that help each other to be more balanced, because this is communication. And then this is action. And then back to the beginning, Aries brings us back to the beginning. A fiery climax approaches. This was, I think maybe this is saying that this is tempering the highs and the lows, temperance energy. And don't let your past hold you back. Show the world the real you. Back to the star energy, and this is Aquarius. So, yeah, and then when I look at the deck immediately for the other one, it's new story, alignment, and coming together. So there's a sense of union, a sense of bringing your polarity of your opposites together on that, and that's the message, and that's what you're doing. You're really pulling together the polar opposites to your sense of center and who you are, and being willing to stand in your own shoes to do that. Okay, so I hope this reading makes sense. And thank you so much for following and continuing to connect with Climbing Clouds. Always be true to yourself.